YouTube, how's it going? The Goat House is back. We got updated power rankings heading into week 13 of the NFL. We update these every single Tuesday afternoon. We also have weekly picks every Tuesday night and score predictions every Wednesday, and there's a lot more where that came from. Join us. Full NFL coverage here. We got you covering the offseason, free agency, the draft as well. These rankings just go by who's hot, who's cold. If you're winning, you go up. They're not end-of-the-year predictions. Head-to-head doesn't matter all that much because we're several games in, obviously, so always got to put that disclaimer out there. Follow our Twitter. A lot of updates on their college football. It's going wild right now with these coaches, so we're talking a lot about that in the NFL, of course, so check that out. Link down below, description comments for anything you need. Some recent videos down in the comments. Here's our Twitter. So, again, some updates, always talking during games. To the power rankings, Lions, they almost had another one. They had the Bears right where they wanted them, and I feel bad for the players because the coaches really let them down there. Obviously, the roster needs to get better, needs to develop more, but, it's been a rough one for the Lions. They could realistically have, at least three more wins. I've not been a fan of that coaching staff this year. 31, the Jags down one spot. Almost came back against the Falcons. Wish they would get a little more offense going. Wish they would take more risks. Really on off. Defense been playing better. They had a problem with Cordero Patterson, but everybody has been recently. But, back down at 31. The Texans lost to the Jets. I talked about in the recap video. The Texans, the way they coached that game, they didn't really coach it to purposely lose, but they coached that game at the end of the day to lose that game. They took a shot to Brandon Cooks. They took a big lead, and they got extremely conservative. Didn't go back to what was working, and they eventually lost the game. And, based on how they called that game, I don't think they care too much. Not saying they lost on purpose. Definitely not. But I don't know if they care too much. The coaches, that is. Seahawks. It is weird seeing the Seahawks logo down there with the Texans, the Jags, and the Lions. But reality is they stink. The Seahawks stink right now. Let's not try to get around that. They actually had a shot and made it close against Washington, but if you watch that game, Washington punched them in the mouth. They outplayed them completely. So, here's Russell Wilson's taking some heat, and he's not right now. He's definitely off target a lot of throws. He's not seeing wide open guys. He's panicking a little bit early because he's hurt. Obviously not 100%. Offensive line stinks, but it always stinks. Receivers aren't getting as much separation. And those are the things we're blaming right now, but the play calling isn't too good. And if you look at that last drive where the Seattle Seahawks got the ball back, they went and scored pretty damn easily. It's because they had no choice but to go tempo. They didn't have any timeouts. They had no choice but to pass the ball only. Just throw everything at Washington. So that kind of goes back to the play calling, really, when they're going three and out. They always got to run on first down. You don't have Chris Carson, so I don't know. So starting to blame maybe the play callers a little more, the coaching staff a little more. But they are getting killed in the time of possession game, which is, when it comes to the NFL, college doesn't really matter that much, but the NFL, it's everything to these coaching staffs, these teams. Jets get a win. They go up 3 spots. They beat the Texans. It helps that these other teams are playing really bad football, and the Jets move up. They're even ahead of the Seattle Seahawks. So the Jets got, they beat the Texans when we didn't really expect them to. Then they have the wins over the Bengals and the Titans. So they have some solid wins there, I suppose. Bears up 1 spot. They pull off a squeaker against the Lions there on Thanksgiving. It wasn't the most impressive game for them, but they get back on track. They win. They win, and they move up to 27. Saints are down 5 spots. They're on a big losing streak, and reality is, they're playing like one of the worst teams in football right now, and there's a legitimate excuse. They might be the most beat up team in football, but that's what it is, so they're not playing too well on the field here. So it's been a tough go for them this year. So they're with that losing streak, they're down 5 spots to 26. Panthers extremely disappointing, and the injuries starting to rack up, but I don't know if that's really their excuse. For these last couple weeks. They beat the Cardinals and impress, and they disappointed against Washington last week, was not through with the play calling there. And then this week, they just could not get anything going on offense, just very poor play on offense. And I think that leaves an effect on the defense, because I like this defense a lot, but they have not been themselves this past couple weeks. But that's really because they've been on the field constantly. But at the same time, I still expect them to be a little better. So they've been just getting hammered by the Dolphins, you're going to move down for that. You're going to pay for that one, really. Falcons up 2 spots. Much needed win against the Jacksonville Jaguars. They get it done. They outplay them completely for most of the game, but they let them come back. It's a Falcons special. I don't want to see that from them, but they get the win, back on track. They're fighting for a wild card spot. They're up 2 spots. Giants get a good win against the Eagles at defense. I love that defense. Playing like maybe the best in football right now. It's tough to go against the Patriots, but love the Giants defense. Nobody's been able to stop that Eagles rushing attack. The read options, the RPOs, they and the Giants, Hurts started running a little bit, but the Giants really shut it down. They made plays. You look good. You want more offense from the Giants, and you need them to stay consistent, get some wins now. But the Dolphins this week, 2 top defenses. I'm looking forward to that one, actually. I think it's a good game right there. So Giants moving up. Steelers on their way down, down 6 spots. Just got embarrassed to the Bengals. Just not much going. I talked about it. The Steelers got these star players. Stud players. It goes without saying. But no unit or particular part of this team is playing all that great. I trust the pass rush. T.J. Watt, Hayward, Highsmith, they're going to get in there. So I'd say the pass rush is still fine, but the teams are being able to take that away from them right now and make that not part of the game. There really isn't a unit, and I like the receiver unit on paper, but there really isn't, and I like Najee Harris. They got the players, but there isn't really a group that is playing, that is playing great. The rushing attack is underwhelming. The block, pass protection, the run blocking, the quarterback play, all underwhelming. The pass defense, the linebacker unit struggling. Teams are able to run on them. It's extremely underwhelming right now. So it's a tough go here. I thought they would make, I picked the Bengals, but I thought they would make that somewhat of a battle maybe. Browns, and the Steelers got a big game against the Ravens this week, who the Browns just lost to. Browns, I like the way their defense played last week, but it was a very sloppy game from their offense. You got to win that game. Opposing quarterback throws 4 interceptions. You got to find a way to win the game. Not much going on offense. They've been dealing with injuries. Their quarterback's playing hurt. So they're not 100%. A lot of teams in the same boat here, obviously, though. So they're down 4 spots. It's been a very disappointing season for those AFC North teams. Still got a fighting chance. So the Eagles, they were hot. They're still holding on from that hot streak, but they lose to the Giants. An extremely disappointing offensive performance. Miss Jordan Howard. It's crazy how much they miss a guy like that. It was really on Hurts running the ball. He did not. He had a bad game. He did not throw the ball well. He did not make good decisions. Defense played all right. It's just a disappointing loss. They're down 5 spots to number 20. The Vikings, they sucked me back in, and then they ripped my heart out. That's just what they do. They started playing good ball, and they dropped that one for the 49ers. Offense is fine. Defense is it reminds me a lot of this time of the year last year. Defense, a lot of guys hurt. A lot of guys are hurt from every team, but it just feels like to me kind of the same situation. The defense is bad right now. It's really bad. So tough one for them. Raiders up 5 spots. Raiders are weird. They're very, very weird. They go on streaks, whether it's winning or losing. So they're on a 1-game win streak, which really isn't a streak. So are they about to win another one? That offense looked high power, looked great against the Dallas Cowboys. When they needed to score, they went and scored. Derek Carr stepped up. He's been struggling a little bit before that. He played very, very well. Just what the hell was that the last few weeks before that? So they're going to go up 5 spots because they beat the Cowboys. But let's see them stay consistent now because they put some bad things out on the field recently. But that's a good win, obviously. So they are to number 18. Big game against Washington football team. That's going to be a really good game, actually. Dolphins up 7 spots. They continue to roll. They continue to look like one of the best defenses in football, maybe an elite defense. Based off how they played the last, during their streak, yes, in that streak, elite defense. I know people will be like, whoa, take it easy, but in that streak, they were an elite defense. They are right now. I love to see Jalen Phillips getting going. That's fantastic. I was very high on him out of Miami. But everyone's balling right now. Everybody is all over the place. Offensively, they pick it up a little bit too. I like Tua. I like the way he's playing. He's playing a little better. Jalen Waddle's been fantastic for them, looking like a good pick. Eichenberg played well, so some young guys playing well. It's just what you like to see there. It makes you feel good about team's direction perhaps when we weren't feeling good about it not too long ago. So, but let's see if they can continue this out. They got a big, again, that Dolphins-Giants game. Those are two of the hottest defenses up there with the hottest defenses right now. I'm looking forward to that. It's going to be about which offense can step up and, not make as many mistakes. And I can't wait to see it. Can't wait to really. Dolphins-Giants, you wouldn't think about it, but yes, I'm excited for that one. Chargers down 5 spots, extremely inconsistent. I've been saying it's a team that can beat anybody and lose to anybody. There are certain matchups that are just nightmares for the Chargers, and then there's teams that we might view as better than them that they match up well against, and they can beat. They can go and beat anybody really, but again, they can lose to anybody. So it's a disappointing outing. Their offense is elite one week, and then it's pretty bad one week. You can game plan for them is basically what it is. Defensively, you can run on them. Wasn't thrilled with some effort plays on their defense, really. There's a couple guys in there that are always going to give full effort, Derwin James, etc. But, I wasn't really thrilled with that, obviously. I don't think everybody should. Everybody should be disappointed. So they can't go on a streak. They can't stay consistent here. So they're down 5 spots. We know they have it in them, though, to be a scary team, perhaps. They're going to have to sneak into the playoffs, though. Washington is on a streak. They're up 4 spots. They punched Seattle in the mouth. They punched them in the mouth. They were very physical. They controlled the time of possession. They dominated the time of possession. And they just outplayed them. My problem, if there is a negative side of this, overall positive because they won. They're on a streak. They're playing a lot better. Defense is playing a lot better. It's kind of not quite there, but getting closer to where we thought it would be maybe heading into the year when it was underwhelming to start the year. But, the negative side, there is a negative. They need to put teams away. There's a lot of other teams that if they – and this is the main positive and why they're in the top 15 now. They put that out in the field. They were physical. They outplayed Seattle. But if there's a lot of other teams, like if they were in that situation, they would have put that team away. So even the Panthers game, they kind of let them hang around a little bit. So I want them to go finish games, but they're a lot better. They're definitely impressive right now. They are up to 15, Washington football team. They were not too long ago. They were in that bottom tier of teams. So impressive streak, some quality wins. And Seattle's not the biggest quality win, obviously, but there's some quality wins within there. Buccaneers being one of them. Broncos up 8 spots. Broncos, take away the Eagles game. Other than that, most recently those games, they've been very, very impressive. I love what Teddy Bridgewater, how he played in that game. Teddy Bridgewater got hurt. And then it looked like a disaster with Drew Lock in there. They're going to blow the game. He comes back in with one leg. He is limping, and he balled out, So I love the way Teddy Bridgewater played. I love what I saw from the running back group as I should against the Chargers. Then they got Javonte Williams kind of in that slip screen game, a little bit going there. Defense played very well. There's just some weeks where the Broncos defense looks elite, and there's some weeks where they're very underwhelming. It was one of those elite weeks. Broncos... Can't mess around with the Broncos. They're pretty sneaky right now. So I love the way they played in that game. It was very impressive to me. And I know I picked them to win because they matched up well. So it's I almost expect them to win. Not a lot of people did, but I almost expect them to take care of business in that game. But they still impressed me. They're very impressive recently. So they're up 8 spots from 14. Rams are down 4 spots, 13. At the end of the day, they are on a 3-game losing streak. At the end of the day, they are playing very sloppy football, so they're going to move down for that. A lot of other people's power rankings will just keep a team like the Rams at the top because they're predicting them to be a contender at the end of the day. I'm with them. I think they can be a contender at the end of the day. I do have some doubts in some areas, though, but that's not my power rankings. They're not end-of-the-year predictions. You got to go out and win a game. You got to go out and get off this losing streak. You got to play better football. Can't be this sloppy. Packers are a beat-up team. I know it might be the best team in the NFL right now, best team in the NFC at least, but they're beat up. The Rams got to go out there and take care of business. So they're on a losing streak. They've been very disappointing. They're down 4 spots, number 13. Colts are down 2 spots. I didn't feel the Colts should move down any more than that because, like I said, wins and losses play a big part of these power rankings, but what they show me on the field, I sit there and watch every game, every Sunday, Thursday, Sunday, Monday, and what teams show me on the field plays a big part. And that's why I didn't want to move the Colts down much more in this. They're playing really good football right now. I know they blew this game. They had some turnovers. I'd categorize the Hines one as kind of a fluky. I don't really expect it to happen too much. But they outplayed by a wide margin. They outplayed the Bucs for a good half of football. And this offense is scary. The defense knows how to make plays. At the end of the day, they lost and they blew a game. It's not good. But I like the way this team's playing. even within that game. So I don't feel a reason to move them down. And they move down, but I don't feel a reason to move them down any more than that. I think they're playing better, much better ball than the LA Rams right now. So I got the Colts there at number 12. Number 11, the Cowboys down 3 spots. They lost 3 out of the last 4. That's not good. There's a big problem where the defense is starting to get. I still like that defense and where it's definitely got to, where it came from, and it could have good performances some weeks, but the teams are starting to game plan for it a little bit. I did not like the performance. I didn't like the way I like Dan Quinn as a defensive coordinator, not as head coach, but as a defensive coordinator here with the Cowboys. But I didn't think it was coached too well in that Raiders game. They were worrying about too many things. They had the safeties playing too far off, and they were still getting beat there. And offensively, they did enough. They did enough in this game, but they shut down sometimes. I know they were missing a lot of players. This team's missing more players. They got to turn around because it has not been good. Here comes the Washington football team right now too. So they really got to turn it around here because they have not been playing Cowboys football, or maybe some people will argue that they are playing Cowboys football now because I know a lot of people are kind of used to them kind of disappointing, but they're not playing to where they were, which was great football earlier in the year. 49ers are up a whopping 8 spots. They're on a streak. They had a good win against the Vikings. I categorized as the Washington football team punched Seattle in the mouth. I think 49ers punched the Vikings in the mouth in that game. They were more physical. Played extremely physical. They pounded the football. It's pretty refreshing to see the 49ers play 49er football again because we haven't seen that earlier in the year. Just pound the football, manage the time of possession, punch the team in the mouth. High motor defense flying around the field. I mean, they created turnovers in a team that doesn't really turn the ball over. Think about that too. So I thought that was taken into account here for this. So I really like the way the 49ers are playing. I don't want to get too, and they're playing better. It's very clear. It's not like a fluke. They're playing more 49ers football. I still want to see more though, because, and by that I mean, because I had them in the playoffs being able to make some noise in the playoffs to start the year. I'm not getting back there yet. I'm slowing my roll a little bit, They got some injuries now, but they'll play Seattle. The way Seattle's playing, they should be able to punch them in the mouth and beat them. No excuses here. So, we'll see what they do. But it's kind of, again, refreshing to see them play to where they could play. Bills back up 4 spots. Just now, we need to see them stay consistent. We need them to get a statement win. Actually, they have one against the Chiefs. Really, they have impressive wins like that one, a romping against the Saints on Thanksgiving in New Orleans. Impressive statement. I think a little different in my opinion. Go get an impressive win. Here's your opportunity. They're home on Monday Night Football against the red-hot New England Patriots. A battle for the AFC East in crunch time of the NFL season. I'm jacked up for that one, folks. So that's going to be a good one. It's a must-win. It's a must-win for both teams. I think more so it's hard to say more so for somebody. It's a must-win for both teams. I'd say more so for the Bills, but it's going to be a crazy good game. Chiefs, the Chiefs went down a spot, and that's only because I had to move a team up. The Chiefs were on a bye. I love the way they're playing right now. They were down at round 16 at one point. They're climbing back up. I expect this team to be battling for. I'm not saying they're going to be in the Super Bowl, but I expect this team to be battling for the Super Bowl. A few weeks ago, we didn't really think that so much. So I really like the way the Chiefs are playing. They're on a bye. While there was one team that I felt like I had to move into the top 7, which we'll eventually get to. The Titans, another loss for them. It's a little disappointing. Yeah, they're maybe the most. I think them and the Saints, top of my head. Them and the Saints, who else is real? There's a lot of teams beat up. I'd say them and the Saints are the most beat up team right now. There's probably another team I should probably throw in that discussion, so I apologize. But at the end of the day, I'm not giving teams passes here for being injured. But I guess it is an excuse on why they're not at full strength, but no passes, because if I gave a pass here, then the rankings would never change. Everybody's hurt. But yeah, that game could have been a lot closer than what it was. Too many mistakes, too many fumbles. I still am confident with the Titans' defense. The good news about the Titans is a lot of these guys, they'll be back at some point, the injured guys. But they're down 4 spots. That was a tough one against the Patriots to see if they can turn it around here now. They were just at 1 a couple weeks ago, so they're on their way down here. The Bengals are the team that had to add in the top 6, which resulted in the Chiefs kind of going down. I thought about putting the Titans down 1 more spot. If the Chiefs would have played a game this week and won, that would have been the case. So the bye hit, it's whatever here. It is what it is. But the Bengals, I just love the way the Bengals are playing. And last time I got hyped up on the Bengals, they blew it to they lose to the Jets that week. So they. hopefully they stay consistent out. I really like the way they played. I'd say they almost have that formula. And by formula, I mean, yeah, to make that run. And why I say almost, you still worry about the pass protection. But other than that, they got a good quarterback. They got playmakers everywhere. Joe Mixon's balling. They have that running game. They got the offensive line can run block. They got those receivers. The defense, extremely, and one of the more impressive things in the NFL, the defense is a lockdown defense, and now they're becoming a playmaking defense. Very good defense. So they can stop teams. They can lock teams down, slow them down. They can run the ball. Out physical them, but I've been talking about it. They're a game plan problem because teams can't just buckle down and focus on stacking a box and playing the run game because you got to be account for all those receivers and Joe Burrow. So they have that formula there. So I really like the way the Bengals are playing right now. They got a big game against the Chargers this week. Let's see if they can stay consistent. I really like what they're showing me right now, though. I just don't know what happened before that bye week. I don't know what that was, that 2-game skid there. I really don't. So let's see if they can stay consistent. Maybe just chalk it up being a young team. Maybe that could have been what it was. Ravens go down one spot. We'll show the next team too. The Ravens did win. I did not like what they put out in the field all that much. I like what they put on the field on defense. Their defense played a really good game. That offense, very, very sloppy. They did not look like a top team in the AFC in that game. But they really didn't move down because I wasn't thrilled with how they played. Because, again, they played very, very well on defense and won the game. The Buccaneers going out and overcoming what happened in the first half and playing ridiculous on both sides of the ball in the second half against the Colts, who I view as a very good football team right now. I was just that impressed with the Buccaneers. I'm not so much impressed with the Buccaneers in the first half, but what they were able to do in the second half, what they were able to overcome and kind of adjust their game because the Colts were kind of taking away their receivers a little bit and just find another path. That's what I like, and be able to clutch out, make plays on defense, create turnovers. Colts were a hot team. That was a really good team, too. So I felt that the Buccaneers had to move up. If the Ravens would have went out and just dominated the Browns, not even dominated, just played a very, very well-rounded game and beat the Browns, it would have been extremely, extremely tough. Even though I've loved what the Bucs did, it would have been extremely tough to move the Ravens down. But it made it a little easier that the Ravens were, to me, I didn't feel like the top team in the AFC there. But it's mainly what the Bucs did. I had to have them jump the Baltimore Ravens there. So they're at 4. 3, the Patriots, the New England Patriots with a rookie quarterback, with a whole bunch of new guys from this offseason at number 3. And they are playing some real good football. Again, that Titans game could have been a little closer, but they made plays. The Patriots made a lot of plays and turned out to be an ass beating because what the Patriots were able to do here. Mac Jones played well. I mean, everybody played well. Got Kendrick Bourne going. I'd say that's a top defensive football at the moment. Playing some really, really good football. Impressed. They're a top 3 team right now. They're up 2 spots. They play the Buffalo Bills. We talked about it. They play the Buffalo Bills, Monday Night Football in Buffalo. Both teams like the cold. It's a battle for the AFC East there, so I cannot wait. And then to show these top 2, Cardinals had a bye. I moved them down a spot. It's absolutely nothing to do with them. If they didn't have a bye, if they would have played and won a game, even if it was close, I would have had a very, very hard time moving them down. Cardinals, debatably the best team in football this year. But the Packers went out and they beat the Rams and they put up a lot of points. And they look pretty damn impressive doing it, with all the injuries they have on top of it. So the Packers, I thought, were worthy of, because going against a kind of what we view, even though they're struggling, what we view as a contending team, it's a statement win. It's a statement win there at this time of the year. So I thought the Packers were deserving going up to number 1 right now. So in the Cardinals, you were on a bye. So the Cardinals play the Bears this week. The Packers have a bye. So we'll see what happens there for this week, but it's starting to feel like playoffs. It's crazy that week 13 is already here. That's crazy, but you kind of feel it in the air a little bit when you watch these games. You start and you know what kind of games are coming up. The Patriots, Bills, games like that, and teams fighting to get in. The Bengals getting hot. And the Rams got to turn things around and be that playoff team they're supposed to be. And here come Washington football. Here comes Denver Broncos. Here come the Miami Dolphins. The Raiders going to turn it around. A lot of good storylines here. I'm really excited for football going forward. That's my rankings though for week 13. Let me know your guys' thoughts in the comments. We're always talking on Twitter. Link down below for that and much more. Like, subscribe, turn notifications on. Be much, much appreciated. That's going to do it. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.